For more Out of Bounds sports coverage, go to outofbounds504.blogspot.com. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Out of Bounds 504's coverage of the 2012 draft class for the New Orleans Saints. That's Rebel, I'm Aviator.
5 draft picks for the New Orleans Saints in the 2012 NFL Draft. It would have been 6 had Bounty Gate not happened and Roger Goodell penalized the Saints' draft pick, which would have been their second-round pick, because the Saints traded away their first-round pick from last year's draft to get Mark Ingram. So, in essence, first draft pick this year came in a year early.
Did come a year early. The Saints' first pick was in the 3rd round, and they got Akeem Hicks, a defensive tackle from Regina, up in Canada. Pretty cool.
Canada.
Up in Canada, however you want to say that.
Played in 17 games over 2 seasons. Had a pretty good career. The only problem is nobody knows about this guy.
This is true. He would have ended up at LSU had it not been for a paperwork miscommunication. But Akeem Hicks, pretty good first pickup for the Saints in 2012. No one really knew who he was, but he's going to end up having to prove himself in training camp.
He's got a good heart, very good work ethic, and one of the main reasons why the Saints picked up this kid, he's a good character kid with a good motor, and he's very, very coachable, according to Joe Vitt and new defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo.
That's true, and he also might get a chance for some early playing time should Roger Goodell not change the suspension to Will Smith.
Right, Will Smith, for those that haven't caught up on our coverage of it, has been suspended for 4 games due to his involvement in Bounty Gate, as well as the full season suspension to Jonathan Vilma. But that's where some of these draft picks and some of these guys that we got in free agency come into play. But let's not focus too much on the defensive side of the ball right now, because Saints in the 4th round picked up another weapon for Drew Brees.
He was listed at 6'1" on NFL.com. NewOrleansSaints.com recorded him at 6'4". 6'4", 215-pound wide receiver out of University of Wisconsin, Nick Toon.
I love that name.
That's a great football name.
Very underrated receiver, was catching passes from 2 very quality quarterbacks in Scott Tolzien and a draft pick in his own right, Russell Wilson.
Absolutely. He played in 47 games over 3 seasons with the Badgers. Started in 31 of those games, and he's a damn fine receiver.
He's caught touchdown passes left and right, and he recorded a pretty good speed over at the Combine, 4.5 40, and he has about a 38-inch vertical, which is going to be good. And he's a nice, big receiver, a Robert Meacham replacement, if you will.
A Robert Meacham replacement with more shades of Marcus Colston in him than anything else. He'll be a good accent to the receiving corps, along with Colston and Devery Henderson as well.
Let's not forget Lance Moore, who's actually come up big for Drew Brees over the years.
True.
Saints in their next draft pick went back to the defensive side of the ball and got Corey White out of Samford.
6'1", 205-pounder defensive back. Could be a strong addition to the Saints' defensive backfield. And be added back there with Malcolm Jenkins and Roman Harper.
Let's not forget about Patrick Robinson out in that defensive backfield. Again, he's a very coachable kid. He doesn't have a whole lot of size, but he's got some speed, running a 4.47, the clock at the 40.
That is pretty good speed, especially if he's going to be in an NFL defensive backfield.
Nice vertical leap as well, 31.5 inches. This kid, very, very coachable. He's been responsible for causing turnovers at Samford.
Absolutely, he has. He's all over the field. He's been all over the field during his college career, and let's hope he can continue that into the pros.
He's a very good accent, and again, another talented player. That's all the Saints do. They get guys that are talented out of these small schools. They did that with Samford, with the Samford kid and Corey White. They did this with Akeem Hicks, so they're giving Steve Spagnuolo some more options there on the defensive side of the ball. But then again, the Saints in the 6th round, what they did, they went right back to the offense, and it looked to give Drew Brees a little bit more protection with the unfortunate departure of Carl Nicks.
Yeah, losing Carl Nicks was a big blow to the Saints, who ended up in Tampa Bay with the Bucks, an NFC South rival. But with all that happening, the Saints went out and picked up Andrew Tiller. He's a 6'5", 334-pound offensive guard. He's a big kid, folks.
From Syracuse.
So he's got a lot of D1 playing time under his belt, and he looks to be an asset on that offensive line.
And the thing that I really am intrigued about this pick here, Aviator, is that the Saints went up to Syracuse, who's their head coach, former offensive coordinator with the New Orleans Saints, and Doug Marrone.
That's true. So they're kind of almost staying in-house with this pick.
Very, very familiar with the way Doug Marrone runs his offense, is Mickey Loomis. And Again, feel very, very good about the potential with this kid. 16 reps in the bench press. Not a very strong kid, but a very agile kid. And is a very, very good protector of the quarterback.
He blocked for in 2 different seasons. He blocked for 2,000-yard rushers as well. One in 2009. In 2010 as a junior, he blocked for DeLone Carter, who rushed for 1,000 yards. And in 2011, what's it say?
Antoine Bailey.
Another 1,000-yard rusher.
And then, again, staying with the offensive line, they went out and got Marcel Jones from Nebraska in the 7th round.
Another strong D1 offensive lineman. Could possibly see some playing time with the absence of, like you said, Carl Nix. Saints were looking into protecting Drew Brees. I mean, he broke Dan Marino's record last year, and he's the reason the Saints have been winning as much as they have been.
Absolutely. Okay, so along with those draft picks, the Saints signed 18 undrafted free agents. 3 really good ones. And to start, we got a tight end out of Wisconsin. Another Wisconsin Badger
joining the black and gold
to help Drew Brees out and actually give the Saints a little bit more depth. Jake Byrne.
Jake Byrne, he's a 6'4", 260-pound tight end, as Paul said, from Wisconsin, and he really could be a good accent to Jimmy Graham. I mean, Jimmy Graham's been the full-time tight end for the Saints, and he's been a phenomenal player. Let's not sell him short, but he's not Superman. He can't play every down.
Before we continue, we want to actually emphasize that though the chances of these undrafted free agents actually making the Saints roster is slim, if they really go out and prove themselves, they can actually make the roster. Maybe not with the Saints, but somewhere else. But this is a kid that the Saints would love to have because it would give them depth at that tight end position.
Absolutely.
Another guy, a very underrated defensive back out of the University of Arkansas, Jericho Nelson, the safety.
Hard-hitting safety out of the SEC. Comes out of the SEC West, which is the power gauntlet in college football right now, and he played against some stiff competition and did it well.
Played at Destrehan, earned himself a scholarship playing for Bobby Petrino up in Fayetteville, and now is coming into the NFL, back home in the New Orleans area, looking to make the roster for the hometown team.
Absolutely. Hopefully it'll be a nice homecoming for Jericho.
And then another really key addition in the undrafted free agent class, Aaron Tevis out of Boise State. A very underrated defense up there in up at Boise.
But a lot of times when you think about the Boise State Broncos, you think Kellen Moore and high-powered offense, and should they be in the BCS? But not with this kid. Aaron Tevis is a 6'3", 234-pounder linebacker. He could really help shore up the Saints' linebacking core should he make the roster, losing Vilma for the entire year, but then again picking up Curtis Lofton, a guy Tevis can really learn from.
You're adding another linebacker to an already deep linebacking core, but the kid is coachable. And if he doesn't make the roster with the New Orleans Saints, he could certainly make the roster somewhere else.
Oh, absolutely. He's very NFL ready, and like you said, he's a very underrated linebacker.
Okay, so more coverage of the New Orleans Saints season, and actually the season in the entire NFL. That's going to come later on, but for more sports coverage, you can go to OutOfBounds504.blogspot.com for our take, and we'll periodically continue these little videos as time progresses. For now, I'm Rebel, he's Aviator, and we'll be seeing you guys down the road.